Bone Machine is a good way to just like introduce everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, David on drums, at that time, Kim or Paz on bass, and then we all join in. It's also a good song to start for our sound man because we don't do a sound check. So we will do that for him and we would extend it.
And it's a great opener too, because everyone kind of knows it when we start a show. I can't say it was any, at least for Bone Machine, going about that, how it starts with drums and bass and then the guitars come in, how that's structured. I mean, there wasn't any thought of how to do it. It just seems that's the way you do it, So that's just an example of just what we're doing. It wasn't like any plan or anything. When we started Bone Machine, when we started Charles was coming around, playing it so we could kind of figure it out. I was playing, Bone Machine. If you listen, it's like an Indian beat. It's backwards. I wouldn't call it Indian beat. I'm not going in that area. But it's ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da 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 ba instead of da da ga da 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 ga da 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 ga. Like every rock song there is 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. But this was 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. And that was Charles's suggestion. Why don't you try this? Why don't you just play it on the one instead? Give it that ga 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 feel. And we did that, and that's Bone Machine. That really makes it. Really, really does. And I think it's the only song that's out of tradition or what that kind of oddity where it's like just turning it around, going on the one instead of the three. Everything else we do, I'm very mediocre. I just play it on the three, just a regular rock beat. But Bone Machine is quite interesting.
By the way, Bone Machine, it has a certain timing. Like if one of us falls off, you can't join back in. It's really more tricky than it sounds. Like if I fall off the train, that's it. I'm off. I'm either chasing it or they have to catch up to me. I can't even tell. You're just lost. You're just lost. We have to stop it. We've stopped that song numerous times because we didn't come in on time, and it's tough to correct.
But the only thing is sometimes I can get really lost on it because I'm doing that 1 2 3 and I'm trying, and everyone else is playing the kind of the straight ahead, 1 and 3. I'm doing the backwards. So sometimes I'm like, kind of, we got to stop the song, either start it again or go on to another song.
That riff I came up with, I liked it. It just kept going and going and going. Very relentless. The only thing unrelenting about it was I would switch from minor to major mode on one, and every time I do that, it kind of, I forgot to do it live. I started doing it like on the last tour because, oh yeah, that's what I did. And now when I do it, it's like, okay, there's the joke. There's always got to be some kind of joke, with the theorist proving the, you got to know how to break the rules, right? So that's how I was doing it. And the song came together well. I loved the solo that I did on that. Just really just one chord. It wasn't one note, but it was like a chord that just kept going and going and going. Basically making, again, a joke out of what a solo is, at the time. Plus that chord too, there was a hit by a guy named Prince. Kiss was the name of the song, and he was hitting a ninth chord, and that's what I did. It kind of like a tribute to that hit.
You're the Bone Machine.
You couldn't get more of a chalk and cheese kind of an arrangement. Like Charles's delivery has this kind of a, unhinged, playful kind of babbling quality, and Kim's vocal is so pure and so pretty and so precise. It's just such a stark contrast. It's kind of shocking that they were able to forge a synthesis between them because they are so diametrically opposite. I have the greatest respect for them for being able to synthesize a band identity out of such diametrically opposed aesthetics.
Well, it's wonderful. I think that they're the yin and the yang. I think having Kim in the band, or a female compared to all those guys, it gave it a different sound, whether it be vocals or just how we were as a band. And it just works in vocals. Her background, any kind of female vocals, it just added to it.
Surfer Rosa had a lot of harmonies, and they worked hard to do that. And I just witnessed it. You know, they had to do what they had to do. I was in my own head. I was just concerned about guitars, but the way it came out was great. Surfer Rosa was the way we bonded. We bonded. We didn't have that much time. We were still working odd jobs. So we would rehearse and play. That's the only time we really saw each other. We had this rehearsal space, and we were the only ones practicing diligently. It seemed like everyone was just partying. There were like maybe 7 other rooms there. Yeah. And then we would open up the door, and they were listening to us. We were entertaining them with this muffly sound. You know, they liked it. You know, that's when we knew we had something.